Professor Joshi BM from Resource Technical Campus, Chas, Ahmedabad. Today we have to discuss transformer nature depending upon the type of transformer. There are two types of transformer. First is ideal transformer and second is practical transformer. Today's lecture we have to discuss on the performance of the transformer depending upon the type, that is ideal or practical transformer. When which transformer is called as ideal transformer? The transformer which does not have any type of losses, that is windage losses, eddy current losses or hysteresis losses, or any type of losses which does not have any type of losses, that type of transformer is called as ideal transformer. Ideal transformer having 100% efficiency and very good voltage regulation. And the practical transformer is that transformer which having some kind of losses and which does not show 100% efficiency. That type of transformer is called as practical transformer. Today's lecture we have to discuss ideal transformer and practical transformer. We have to discuss on ideal transformer connected with no load and ideal transformer connected with load. After that we have to discuss practical transformer on no load condition and practical transformer on load condition. Okay, so to understand this topic we have to draw a circuit diagram of ideal transformer with no load condition. Okay, now first of all ideal transformer with no load condition. To understand this topic, we have to draw a circuit diagram of ideal transformer. So, to draw the circuit diagram, we draw here core of single phase transformer. Draw here core of single phase transformer, give name as core. Okay, consider this is the primary side of core and this is the secondary side of core. So let's draw here winding of primary side of transformer, connect with single phase AC supply. So I will draw here single phase AC supply with 50 Hz frequency. Okay, the given transformer is ideal transformer on no load. So we have to draw here secondary winding of the transformer, but we don't have to connect here load because the given transformer or the given condition is on no load condition. Okay, so let us discuss about what is the procedure of this type of transformer. When the single phase AC supply is given to the primary winding of transformer, let us consider V1 is the supply voltage. When V1, that is supply voltage, is applied to the primary side of the transformer, then magnetic flux start flowing through that winding. Then electrical supply is given to the primary side of the transformer. A small amount of current start flowing through that winding, that current starts generation of magnetic fluxes. So these are the magnetic fluxes we name as phi. Okay, we name here as a phi. So when on an ideal transformer operating on a no load condition, voltage V1, okay, voltage V1 is applied to the primary winding of the transformer, then an EMF, that is denoted by capital E1, and EMF E1 get induced in the primary side of the transformer. Okay, then EMF E1 is get induced in the primary side of the transformer, then flux phi is generated. Okay, then flux phi is established in the primary side of the transformer, and these fluxes draw a very small amount of current, that current is called as IM. That current is called as IM. That is a magnetizing current. Okay, and this magnetizing current is always equal to the primary current, or I1. That means IM equals to I1. Okay, I repeat, when a supply voltage V1 is applied to the primary side of the transformer, then an EMF E1 get induced in the primary side of the transformer. This EMF establishes magnetic flux, that is phi, in the primary winding of transformer, and due to this magnetic flux, it will draw a very small amount of electrical current, that is IM. Okay, IM is a magnetizing current, and this IM is always equals to the primary current I1. Okay, this I1 or this magnetizing flux phi is always in phase with the magnetizing current. Then that generated fluxes phi get linked by using this magnetic pole, get linked with the secondary winding of the transformer. Okay, then by the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, here also an EMF is generated. This EMF is generated because in the transformer there is a principle of mutual induction. By using this principle of mutual induction, and EMF is induced in the secondary winding of the transformer. The EMF of secondary winding of transformer is named as E2. Okay, this EMF is named as E2. This EMF is induced due to the principle of mutual induction or transforming action. Because of the transforming action, E2 is generated. So here the transformer is ideal. Okay, the transformer is ideal because of that the internal resistance of the both the winding is equals to 0. So how's that? Because the transformer is ideal means there is no electrical losses, there is no electrical drop occur in the primary or secondary winding. So the resistance or the internal resistance or the resistance of primary as well as secondary winding is 0 in case of ideal transformer. But this not happen in case of secondary, in case of practical type of transformer. This happens in case of only ideal transformer, because there is no electrical losses or there is no electrical drop present in the ideal type of the transformer. So the resistance of both the winding is always equals to the 0, and if the resistance of the both the winding is 0, the winding becomes purely inductive in nature. Okay, that means nature of the both the winding is purely inductive. Okay, so the load is not connected to the secondary side of the transformer. Because of that, the I2 having very small magnitude, or nothing but it is equals to the 0. Okay, I2 equals to the 0, because the secondary, because we don't connect here any type of load. If we connect here load, the secondary current will start flowing, but here there is no any electrical load is connected. Because of that, the value of the I2 is 0. So now we draw here phasor diagram. Now we draw here phasor diagram. This phasor diagram shows the nature of the voltage and current in case of ideal transformer. If we consider a reference line as a supply voltage V, we consider the reference line as supply voltage V. So we know that, we consider reference line as a phi, that is flux. We know that the flux phi is get induced because of the supply voltage V, and the winding is purely inductive in nature, and the current flowing through the winding because of the flux is always in phase with the magnetic flux. That means the current I1 is in phase with the magnetic fluxes. The winding is purely inductive. Okay, the winding is purely inductive. Because of that, the voltage makes 90-degree lagging angle with the voltage. Okay, because of that, the current produce a 90-degree lagging angle with the voltage V1. So we draw here exact 90-degree angle, and this phasor named as V1. Okay, that means V1 is lagging with current by exactly 90-degree. Okay. Okay, then we know that E1 and E2 are opposite phase with V1 because of the Lenz law. Okay, that means E1 and E2. How's that? What says the Lenz law? Lenz law said that the produced voltage or current or the produce always opposed to cause behind it. Okay, that means who produce the product always opposes to that produced cause. That means E1 and E2 are produced by the voltage V1. So we draw here exactly 90 or antiphases E1 and E2 and E1. That means E2 and E1 are exactly antiphases with V1 because of the Lenz law. Okay. So what this phasor diagram showing that if we draw a reference, if we consider reference phi, then we know that the flux phi and the primary current or magnetizing current I1 is in phase with the phi. Then we draw here I1 in phase with the phi. And the winding is purely inductive in nature, so the lagging angle create here in between the primary voltage and magnetizing current or primary current. So we draw here exactly 90-degree lagging V1 and I1, and E1 and E2. E1 is the primary RMS value of primary induced EMF, and E2 is the RMS value of secondary induced EMF. Both are produced due to the V1. Okay, both are produced due to the V1, and because of the Lenz law, these both are opposed to the cause behind its production, and the cause is V1. So E2 and E2 and E1 are opposed to the V1. Okay, this is our phasor diagram, and the magnitude of E1 and E2. Magnitude of E1 and E2 is always depending upon the number of turns of primary winding and number of turns of secondary winding respectively. That means the magnitude of E1 is depend upon the number of turns of primary winding, and the value of or the magnitude of E2 is depend upon the number of turns of secondary winding. Okay, in next lecture we will discuss about the practical transformer on no load. Okay, so you have to remember that the practical transformer having some type of load, some type of losses, but in case of ideal transformer there are no any type of losses are